Hello everyone and welcome to Tailored Acres. I'm Taylor and I am a gardener in Wisconsin Zone 4B. And today we're going to be planting blueberry bushes. So I'll give you some tricks and tips on these as well as where I'm planting them in my garden. So first I'll show you the space that I'm going to plant them in. So in this area, it's all fenced in with bunny fence on the bottom and obviously deer fence all the way up. If you can see, that much is the deer fence there, because as you can see, we live out in the woods. So we need both those protection for blueberry bushes for them to be the most successful for you, because the critters really like blueberries as well. And in addition to that protection, once they start making their fruit, I also have been putting netting over them to protect them from the birds as well. And we've gotten a lot of fruit from our existing blueberries this way. So this is what I've been calling my orchard, and I've got 4 dwarf apple trees in here. But there is actually quite a bit of space left over, especially right now when they're small. So hopefully this isn't too deceiving. The dwarf trees say they want 15-foot spacing, but that's from a different tree. So what I'm going to be planting these is near this black fabric here. So I've been planting flowers back here. Like, this is my overspill for my cut flower garden. And I am just going to plant these like proper spacing from the fence away. So the blueberry bushes that I have are about 4-foot spacing. So that's what I'm going to base my spacing on for these. And then I also have 2 honeyberries to plant, and those are a little bit bigger, and I need to relook it up. I think they were 5 or 6 foot spacing. So those are going to get a little bit bigger. So when we moved into this house in 2020, this was here, and I actually had no idea what was going on here. It's kind of a mess of a fence, but it's pretty tall. So it's like we're really protecting something good here. And as I learned more about gardening, I realized that these were blueberry bushes in here. So if you can see, there's quite a few, I think about 4 in the front, and there's like some in the back that I haven't really been able to nurse back to life. So what I did was I bought some blueberry fertilizer, which helped a lot. Blueberries have very specific needs, and they really like acidic soil. So where I live, it's sand, so it's pretty easy to get that for us here. And I have fertilizer for jungs. I'll show you the bag in a little bit. So that is something I do every year when they just start to break dormancy, is fertilize them. And then I also did some really big pruning on these, some really big rejuvenating cuts. So I do have a separate video on that. If you want to look up Tailored Acres blueberries, you'll find it there. So this is the area that we have blueberries currently, and especially this big one here, we've gotten a lot of blueberries off of, but they're relatively small, and I have absolutely no idea what variety they are. So I wanted to start a new patch because this is in kind of an odd location too, and I really don't want to keep the fence here. So this fence is going to be coming down after this year. And actually what I'm going to do next year is just without the fence and do the bird netting and see what we can get out of these, just as an experiment. But I want to have the guaranteed crop that's going to be in the garden too. The 3 blueberry varieties that I'm planting today are Patriot, which is a giant size blueberry that the plants are super hardy. So they're hardy down to zone 3. They originated in Maine. So they also yield an average of 10 to 20 pounds of fruit, which would be fantastic. The next blueberry is a Chandler, and this has the biggest fruits of any blueberry ever. They are just absolutely gigantic. So I'm very excited for that one. They're like the size of cherries. So I'm hoping that that works out well for us. The last variety of blueberries I have are Northland, and these came highly recommended from everyone that I have talked to about blueberries. So these are hardy down to zone 3 again. The last one was down to zone 4. I think I forgot to say that. So this one was developed at Michigan State University, and it's a cross between a native low bush and high bush blueberry. They are highly productive, yielding 12 pounds or more of fruit per plant, but they are a small to medium fruit. So very excited for those as well. One other important element to think about when you're selecting the location for your blueberry plants is how much sun they're going to get. So if you can see, we got lots of big trees here that do cast morning shade on this area. So they're not going to be quite full sun, but they should get plenty of sun here still. So what I did here was I laid out my blueberry plants. I have a tape measure here, you can see. So I started out with 4-foot spacing, and I just kind of walked around to see how that felt. And they felt really close together to me because of the fence in the back. Like, there's not going to be as much room to get around them. So I am opting for 5-foot spacing in hopes that I can shimmy in between them, at least for a few years. I can also keep them pruned so that I can walk between them easier. So that is something that I might have to do because this is somewhat of a limited space to get these in. So they're at the 5-foot spacing, which is, I think, like 5 to 6 feet is what's recommended for, or sorry, 4 to 6 feet is what's recommended for most blueberry varieties. So when you're planting your blueberry variety, make sure that you look at that tag or even the culture guide for that blueberry cultivator to make sure that you have the correct spacing, because you don't want to end up with too close together. Like 3 years into it, it's going to be hard to move that plant. So just get it right the first time. Don't worry about it. More space is always going to be better between plants. So because I planned on a smaller spacing for my blueberry plants, I'm actually going to be planting my honeyberries out here by the fence, which is still a good area. It's just going to be a bit harder for me to get them connected into my drip system. So they'll have a lot more space here, though, than being planted in the blueberry line. So hopefully I'm happy with that choice. So I do have a drip, like a mainline run in the under the chips here, so I can just tap in to get it out to there, just to get some emitters by those as well to have automatic watering, which you can't beat that. So before I get these planted, I just wanted to show you guys what I've been dealing with here, trying to reclaim the wild for all of our gardens. So I had this area tarped since early spring, and it's like there's still weeds trying to come up, and a little bit of light does get through that fabric that I've been using. But look at these. These are all blackberry bushes, and it's just a constant battle. So if you're battling something in your yard, I'm there with you. This is the blueberry fertilizer I've been using. It's from Jung's, and it is a pretty heavy fertilizer. Usually I'm looking for organic stuff, but because blueberries need special stuff, this is what I bought, and it was 4 pounds, so I'm probably going to just use it until it goes out and then try to find something different. But this has exactly what the blueberries need. So we're going to follow this for the first year plants here. So wait until the first leaves have reached full size before fertilizing. Apply 1 tablespoon of blueberry special within 1 foot of the plant, and then repeat it at 6-week intervals. So that's what I'm going to do for the first year plants. So I am just going to do some Biotone starter fertilizer in the hole with these, and that's it for now. I will top dress them with some compost as well, because they are very heavy feeders, which is also why that's like a 12-12-12. Blueberries need a lot of nutrients. Okay, so I'm going to get these planted now, and I have marked on my shovel here, this is 3 feet from the end. So that's what I'm going to use. So the first one is going to be at 4 feet. So here is where I'm going to dig my hole. This one is going to be kind of close to my asparagus, but that's okay. So usually the typical advice is to dig a hole 2 times as deep and 2 times as wide as what you're planting. Do I usually do that? Usually not. That's a lot of digging, but I am going to try today. Set a good example, right? All right, we got it here. Oh, and I just realized I don't have my fertilizer, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the stuff I'm going to be using in the hole with the plants. I use this for absolutely everything. It seems to really make a difference. I just get mine from Amazon, and I can put a link in the description if I can remember. So it's just a small handful. I should a little bit more. And then I'm just going to kind of mix it around in here. And I'm going to try to loosen the sides a little bit in here too. Gosh, there's so many roots in here. So this area was just a wooded area when we moved in. So I got competing with a lot of stuff that used to be here. All right. So Patriot is the first one here, and the root system on this, oh, they actually aren't too bad. I think these are bare root plants that they just put in a pot here. So, all right. And I want to plant it at about the same level that it was at before. Okay, that just all fell off now. So see, this is what we're kind of looking at here. Looks like we got some more sprouts coming up too. So I'm actually gonna plant it about here. They had it planted super deep. So I'm looking at about here. All right, then I'm just gonna top dress that with compost and then probably put some grass clippings on it too to keep the weeds away. That's what the rest of this area will have too with the cut flowers. So I'm just gonna repeat that process 6 more times. I got everything planted now. So we ended up with 5 blueberry bushes in this back line here. And I am going to be, well, weeding first and then planting some of my cool flowers out already. I think everything is going to look really good back here. I think they'll be really happy. I did top them with compost already. So there's one honeyberry. The other one is way over here. Oh, just got caught. There. All right, guys, that's it. Take care.